Meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to call up Fire Official Pellick just to give some directions before we begin the meeting, please.
Good evening, everybody. And always keeping safety in mind tonight, since we have a big public gathering, we are controlling the crowd that's here. But I'd like you to keep in mind the exits. Should we have the fire alarm go off or any event of an emergency, you have, if you're in this room, you have the exit that you see right there on the right to the hallway outside. We also, you can use this door here, make a right, and your first left at the end of the hall will dump you right outside. If you're in the courtroom, you can come in the exit that you came in, down the hallway right outside. There is a remote exit towards the back of the dais that you can go through, follow the exit signs there. They'll bring you back out into the hallway. You can go to the left and go outside or come back this way. So in the event of emergency, please use those exits. Don't get in the habit that the way you came in is the way you go out, okay? Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Amy, open public meeting statement.
Adequate notice of this meeting of the Township Council of the Township of Roxbury was given as required by the Open Public Meetings Act as follows. On December 31st, 2025, notice was emailed and faxed to the Daily Record, the North Star Ledger, the Westmorse Reporter, and published in the Daily Record. Notice shall also remain posted throughout the year on the bulletin board in the main hallway of the municipal building.
Thank you. Roll call.
Councilwoman Albrecht.
I'm here.
Councilman Carey. Deputy Mayor Crowley.
Here.
Councilman DiFilippo.
Here.
Councilman Hall.
Here.
Councilman Riley.
Here.
Mayor Patillo.
Here. This brings us presentations, awards, etc. There are none. Item 5, approval of minutes. We have January 6th, January 13th, and January 2026. I will approve all three.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Councilwoman Albrecht.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Crowley.
Yes.
Councilman DiFilippo.
Yes, for January 6th and abstain on 13th and
Councilman Hall.
Yes.
Councilman Riley.
Yes.
Mayor Patillo.
Yes. This brings us to our first public portion. With such a crowd here today, I'd ask that our first public portion remains focused on township business. And then we'll open up the second public portion for any comments, questions, or concerns on 1879 Route 46. I'd also ask that anybody in the overflow room in our courtroom, we're going to have our fire officials helping to manage people so we maintain code, and they'll help take people out of this room to bring additional people back in. All right, so I'm going to open up the public portion, our first public portion. Ask anyone who has township business to come up, maintain 3 minutes, state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, Dennis Wine, Holly Drive, Sepasana. My subject is water, not ice. I understand they want to raise our water bill. I'm talking about the New Jersey American Water Company, not the Township Company. And it looks like they're asking for $10. My basic request is, first of all, they've already raised it, according to my calculations, by about 125% since they took over in 2019. gave the mayor some documents. But anyway, if the township council, I couldn't get the copy of the BPU filing, I can't seem to find it on the website at the state or the BPU. Maybe we got it put in the wrong places, but I was hoping maybe the town could get their hands on it, or get a tab to access it. I think it would be interesting for the town to see it and read it. This company wants to spend about $100 million on improvements. I don't think we need much of any improvement in Roxbury. I have our residents are being asked to subsidize all these other towns, which I have a list of. I don't think that would maybe take a look, and if you see something in there that you think is worthwhile, maybe somebody from the town or a law firm could attend the hearing, because I think there's supposed to be some public hearings.
Dennis?
Yes,
There's a court from the town manager. I'll try to reach out to him tomorrow, but here's my email myself.
that's it.
Thanks, Dennis. Thank you, sir. Hello.
Valerie Lamorges, 4 Bell Court Landing. I just wanted to say thank you to the Roxbury Township Council and staff who are also here in the room, the fire department, police department, for all your efforts throughout the years and also dealing with all the issues here in this town now. You guys have been doing a great job keeping all the residents informed, and the police and fire keeping everybody safe. So just wanted to say thank you to you guys for everything that you guys are doing.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to be heard on township business for this public portion? We'll get through the rest of the agenda and we'll open it back up for a second portion. So, seeing none, I'll close public. This brings us to reports of council liaison, representatives, council committees, new and old business. I'll start. So last week I attended Lake Muscanac Regional Planning Board. Not much to discuss on that topic right now since the lake is frozen. They're just prepping for the spring thaw and to continue the great work they're doing there. I also just attended right before this meeting our Economic Development Committee meeting. One of the programs that committee has instituted here in town is a business longevity recognition program. It recognizes businesses that have been operating in town for 25 or 50 years. And we received an application, and we are happy that we will be recognizing Dominic's Salon and Barbershop for over 50 years of successful business here in Roxbury. And we'll bring them in or go to them, whatever they would like to do within the next month or so. So really excited to see another successful business here in town. And then the last thing I'd like to just do is I wanted to thank our DPW. I saw Steve in there somewhere. Steve, our DPW, our frontline workers and first responders. I even want to thank JCP&L for being so transparent with their services and their actions taken during this last storm. I also have a special thank you for the Roxbury Rotary Club for collecting donations to provide snacks and foods and drinks for all the crew that were out there 24 hours, making sure Roxbury remained open, safe, and moving forward. So a big thank you to everyone who contributed to this snowstorm this past weekend. Thank you. That's all I have. And Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll say ditto to everything that you've said. I'll just add one more thing because it was fantastic. It was neighbors helping neighbors. I got a couple calls, check on this person, someone check on someone else, help them doing some of the sidewalks. I mean, this was a huge snow event. It's just fantastic how the whole community came together. The only thing that I have, I did participate in the EDC meeting tonight, which the mayor told you about. Lake Foundation is going to run a 250th anniversary sale in July, I think July 15th, what they're talking about somewhere in there. We'll get some more information to follow. But they're going to have a boat parade on Lake Apaca, which will be interesting. I believe it's 2 weeks after we do the Veterans Cruise, so we have a lot going on the lake this year. That's it, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Albright?
I would also like to thank DPW and all the emergency services, police, fire, nurses, doctors, everybody. We had a terrible storm. It lasted 24 hours, but you guys did great. And Nor'easter coming up this Sunday, which I hope this summer girl does not want your Nor'easter. That's all I have today. Thanks.
Thank you, Councilman Hall.
Thank you, Mayor. At the next meeting, we'll be getting a resolution from the Environmental Commission regarding the forestry plan. So any questions from council, please let me know. Again, this is, the funding for this will come out of the Highlands Commission. So thank you to the Highlands for stepping up and helping us out with that. Again, I'm mimicking what everybody else is saying about DPW. Steve, great job. Really, really a nice job. And for the people out in the audience, just be careful when you go into intersections. What do we have, 16 inches? 16. Yeah, they had a pilot, in a lot of different places. So if you're pulling out a lot of times, sometimes your sight distance may not be as good. So just keep an eye on that. Hopefully more repairs are on their way. There'll be a public meeting on Imagination Station. Date will be shared. Had a discussion with Amy on that. This is for the grant opportunity for the new Imagination Station, and we had meetings with Recreation and the Environmental Commission over the last 2 weeks. Thank you, Mayor. That's it for me.
Thank you. Councilman Riley?
We didn't have a planning board meeting this week, but I too would like to extend our thanks to everybody that you all mentioned already. DPW is out shoveling intersections today where sidewalks were crossing. Helped my wife get her mailbox and was taken down. No fault of the DPW. Not in a storm like this. So, but out there doing the right thing, and just want to thank everybody for all they did to keep Roxbury safe.
Thank you. Councilman DiFilippo?
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, Steve Sinise was telling us before that, the good news was on Sunday, all the businesses in town closed, which made it really easy for them to help clean up, but then there was no place for anybody to eat, so the Rotary Club donating food and the snacks was really well received. I mean, they actually needed the food, so that was great. And to save Steve Sinise a drive out to his town to pick up pizzas. We did have a joint meeting of the Library Foundation Board and the Library Trustee Board. Because we're about 5 years into this capital program to add on to the library. And we've raised about $700,000 in 5 years. We wanted to get a sort of a gut check on where we are and where we're going. It was a terrific meeting. A lot of great people participated. JJ got a chance to get a sort of a good deep dive into what we're trying to do. And so we're moving forward. It's not a sprint. It's a long distance race. All right, and that's it for me. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes, I also want to commend the DPW, police, fire, some other branches sometimes don't get remembered, are the emergency management people who are coordinating, and the water and sewer department who are out there 24/7. Your water service wasn't shut down, your sewers work. These people have to be out there all the time. So I think city staff and county staff really work hand in hand. I do want to remind people, especially during storms like this, please, if you have a fire hydrant in your neighborhood, please shovel that out. There was another community in New Jersey where they had a house fire and didn't shovel out, so the fire department was not able to find that right away, or it took them like 15 minutes to shovel it out themselves, and the 1-alarm fire turned to a 3-alarm fire. So if you live on a street that there's a fire hydrant, please do a civic duty and make sure that's clear, so that if an emergency happens, our first responders can get there and get right to work.
Good.
That's it.
Thank you. Mr. Briggs?
Just some things for
Thank you. Item 8, matters requested referred by council members, managers, attorney, and clerk. There are none. Item 9, introduction of proposed ordinances. 02-26, an ordinance to amend the supplement chapter 7, traffic, of the revised general ordinance of the Township of Roxbury, County of Morris, State of New Jersey, and establishing a no parking zone during certain hours on Riggs Avenue and Morris Street. There's a typo there, it should say street.
Make the motion.
Any discussion? There's a second reading on this on February 10th. Roll call?
Councilwoman Albrecht.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Crowley.
Yes.
Councilman DeFilippo.
Yes.
Councilman Hall.
Yes.
Councilman Riley.
Yes.
Mayor Patillo.
Yes. 03-26, an ordinance to vacate any and all public rights in and to the right-of-way and portion thereof known as 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, Endgate Avenue, Bennett Street, and Zelda Place, as well as Mitchell and Riggs Avenue in the Township of Roxbury, County of Morris, State of New Jersey.
I'll move that.
All right, just to be clear that this is not the same Riggs as the first ordinance. This is Riggs in Land.
These are all neighbors.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
The second reading is March 10th, 2026.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Albrecht.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Crowley.
Yes.
Councilman DeFilippo.
Yes.
Councilman Hall.
Yes.
Councilman Riley.
Yes.
Mayor Patillo.
Yes. Item 10, hearing adoption of ordinances on second reading. 0126, calendar year 2026 ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriations limit to establish a cap bank, NJSEA 40A:4-45-.14. A motion to open the public.
Second.
All in favor? Does anybody in the public wish to be heard on this ordinance and this ordinance alone? Close.
Second.
All in favor? Motion to adopt.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Albrecht.
Yep. Yes.
Deputy Mayor Crowley.
Yes.
Councilman DeFilippo.
Yes.
Councilman Hall.
Yes.
Councilman Riley.
Yes.
Mayor Patillo.
Yes. Item 11, introduction and adoption of resolutions. Have a motion.
I'll move 2026-030 to include 2026-031 through 2026-036.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Councilwoman Albrecht.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Crowley.
Yes.
Councilman DeFilippo.
Yes.
Councilman Hall.
Yes.
Councilman Riley.
Yes.
Mayor Patillo.
Yes. Item 12, personnel change, there are none. Item 13, communications, January 23rd, 2026. Any comments, discussion? Deputy Mayor?
In the packet is correspondence from the Jersey Strong Coastal Coalition, Waves Not Waves. We should look at that. It looks like it's been looked at by municipalities. It's essentially allowing nuclear energy in. I know in the past we've talked about solar power. One of the things that I think we have to understand is how much the state is funding on this. Some of the numbers, if you read it, looks like the state is putting a lot of money, a lot of energy credits into this. So if we do anything in this area, we should really understand and have someone come and explain to us what it's about.
Actually, I would suggest we support it. It was from a previous communication back to actually.
Right.
Yeah, but I agree. I think it's something that actually ran off that
There's about 75 communities that, but I'd like to hear a little bit more, really what the buy-in is,
Yeah.
and what does that mean to the wind and solar panels that they were talking about? You know it all. Thank you.
Good, Judge? Thank you. Any other discussion on communications? Seeing, all right, moving on. All right, this brings us to our second public portion. Before I open it up to the public, I'd just like to make a statement. So council continues to work with our professional staff, state and federal representatives. Last week, council directed our township manager to meet with U.S. Senator Cory Booker. The senator and Mr. Murphy met at the site in question where Mr. Murphy provided the senator with our township's concerns, including the location of the property is within a residential area. Our township volunteer fire department, our volunteer EMS are not designed to support a facility like this. Our small police force is not designed to support a facility like this. traffic, access, and easement concerns at the location, and the significant restriction on the property with regards to water and sewer. The council also has concerns of the significant tax revenue loss that would occur if this building would be turned into that facility. The senator reached out to the U.S. Immigration Customs and Enforcement on behalf of Roxbury Township and received a response that included, ICE has no new detention centers to announce at this time. As information is able to be made public, the agency will communicate promptly with federal, state, and local lawmakers. The senator remains engaged and continues to and pledges to continue to keep us informed on information he receives. I'd like to thank Mr. Murphy for meeting with the senator and providing the same concerns to him that we, who were able to meet with ICE directly, were able to give them 2 weeks ago. We will, as a council, continue to give updates and provide information as it becomes available. At this time, I'd like to open it to the public. Please come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record, and please maintain 3 minutes. Thank you.
No timing when we have to adjust the mic for height. Bonnie Rosenthal Randolph. In September, Mayor Patillo spoke at a Charlie Kirk Memorial in Roxbury, stating that he was speaking on behalf of his family and town council colleagues. He stated, quote, "We must all look toward building a better future, one entrenched in peace, unity, and respect for one another." Referencing the homicide of Kirk, a Ukrainian refugee, and 2 Colorado college students, he further stated, quote, "These things should not happen in a civilized society. They were not acts of courage but cowardice, and they must serve as a turning point for us as people." 2 weeks ago, this council unanimously approved a resolution against a proposed ICE facility being opened in Roxbury. Thank you for that. Prior to it being voted upon, Mayor Patillo stated, quote, "I am not voting against any of our country's laws, including our immigration laws." That night, I read a statement by Becca Good after the murder of Renee Nicole Good. Since that time, there have been 2 more shootings against individuals in Minneapolis, including most recently the murder of Alex Preddy. I would request tonight that, like you made a statement at the Charlie Kirk Memorial on behalf of the council, that you as the mayor and or other council members make an unequivocal and strong statement this evening that while the Roxbury Town Council agrees with U.S. laws regarding immigration being fairly and humanely enforced, that you do not stand with what ICE and Border Patrol are currently doing. My further request is that the council take additional steps, which can be done, to make sure that there is no ICE facility in Roxbury, and the council will take steps to protect its residents from the horrific activities currently taking place at the hands of DHS. It is important that leaders lead by standing up for what we Americans have fought for almost 250 years. We do not want to end up as Pastor Marin Nimerelli and all, who stated, "First they came for the communists and I did not speak out because I was not a communist. Then they came for the socialists and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me and there was no one left to speak out for me." I would ask for you to make a public comment this evening denouncing it, just as you did when you did it for Charlie Kirk.
Before I get to my questions, I just want to... I'm sorry, William Angus in Hackettstown. Sorry about that. Before I get into my questions for you, Mayor, I just want to publicly thank Chief Holland, who I know is in the room at the back, and I also want to thank Lieutenant Gaffey. He is the officer who was tasked to be my liaison with all of these efforts, and I cannot, in strong enough terms, compliment both of them. Their only concern has been for our safety. They have worked with us, and we have worked with them, and we have had several, large demonstrations that largely went off without a hitch. And a lot of that I believe I credit to the chief and to the lieutenant. So I just want to say thank you. That being said, Mayor Patillo, On December 30th, when the news broke, you made a statement before your council meeting in which you said that you would reach out to various law enforcement, senators, congressmen, and that most of them had responded that they had no information. You said that Andy Kim did not respond. The following week, you made a similar statement, and my first question is, who is it that reached out to these various agencies and political, senators, and how? Was that email? Was it a phone call? How was that achieved?
My communications were made mostly by phone call.
Okay, so it was you who made the inquiries.
I didn't make inquiries to everybody. Our township manager also made inquiries.
Okay, thank you. And those were by phone as well when you made the inquiries?
Both phone and email.
Okay, thank you. At the time, on January 7th, it was still unconfirmed, so it was a rumor. So my question for you, Mayor Patillo, is you had said that you reached out to these various people and groups, and they didn't have information. Since then, of course, we've gotten confirmation of the address. We know it's a fact. And my question is, has any politician on local, county, state, or federal level offered assistance? And if so, who and what assistance, and what was your response?
Currently, like I mentioned in my statement, we work with Senator Booker. He has come here and pledged to stay engaged with us and talk with ICE on our behalf. I'm still waiting on response from Congressman Kennedy. But he's waiting on a response as well, so he's waiting for a response. Senator Kim has been in contact, but we're working with Booker, so he's supporting Booker on that, to my understanding. Sheriff Gannon is still unaware, has not been made privy to any information that the federal government may have in their knowledge.
So just to be clear, you are working with Senator Booker on this matter?
Senator Booker has been to the site and he has received our concerns.
That isn't answering my question. Are you working with him? Is he working with you to provide assistance?
Yes, he's working with Roxbury on behalf of
Okay, that's what I wanted to clarify. All right, those are my only questions. Thank you.
Hello, Mayor and Council. My name is Mary Ann Malo. I live in Bud Lake, New Jersey, so bordering right up here. We spend a lot of time in Roxbury.
I'm sorry, Mary. Could you just say the last name again for me?
Malo, M-A-H-L-A-U.
Thank you.
Thank you. By the way, I just want to thank you all for in the police department for working with our group in keeping everything safe and hearing our concerns and taking the time. I'm in possession of a letter from the town of Merrimack, New Hampshire, who are also a location of one of the proposed ICE detention facilities. This is a letter that their town council wrote to Christy Nome. I'm just going to read a part of the letter that I think is pertinent, and then I'm going to ask you a question. If an ICE processing center is established within the town, potential difficulties and civil protest would necessitate our police and fire rescue department services. Again, there is potential for financial impact upon those departments and their budgets. As a result, this town council is against the establishment of an ICE processing center based upon the aforementioned financial impacts and concerns to our budget. My question is would the Roxbury Town Council be willing to draft a similar letter to Ms. Nome on behalf of the town of Roxbury, stating, the resolution that you passed and that these are your feelings directly to her to express your concerns? Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Allison Salisbury, 44 Uniberg Ave, Sakasana. I've been a resident of Sakasana for 5 years now, and I'm grateful to be putting down roots in our town. I've come this evening to encourage our town to consider adopting an ordinance to prohibit any sort of detention or correctional facilities in town and adopt that into our zoning law. Thank you.
zoning ordinances list what is permissible in that location, right, per zone. So if it doesn't list it, it automatically makes it prohibited as a use in that zone. So there's no reason for us to rewrite it at this time. And that our attorney will clarify everything. I'm trying to say it as simple as from I don't understand this. At this point in time, there's no reason for us to rewrite any ordinances because they already protect us. All right.
Good evening. My name is Bria Spots. I live at 64 St. Mary's Drive in Succossona, and I've been a resident of Roxbury for 13 years. I was planning on coming here tonight since last week to address you, but I feel like it's even more important after this past weekend. You've been hearing all of the reasonings from residents about why this proposed detention center is not good for our town, and I think that you've come out and you've said the strain on our emergency services, water, sewer, traffic, road safety, and you've acknowledged those, and I appreciate that. But we're at a really extremely crucial moment in the history of our town and in our country right now. And you're all elected as Republicans in a mostly conservative town. And you've enjoyed pretty quiet terms on this council for quite a few years. You didn't ask for this. You didn't ask for this big monumentous thing to happen in our town, but we're here now. And I think we need to be really, really clear about what we want for this town, because it is going to reflect on us as a community, and it's going to reflect on every single one of you. Council meetings used to be a half hour. Now they're pushing 2. You didn't ask for that, but we're here. You've heard from countless residents who are against it, and I honestly believe that the majority of our town are against it. The small minority that are for it, they're sitting behind their screens right now writing vile comments on Tap Into Roxbury articles. They're not in front of you. They're not filling up this room like all of these people are. The proposed detention center will absolutely leave a black stain on our town, on our community, and on your legacies. And there's no amount of township appearances and selfies with residents that can take that away, because this is your defining moment. This is our defining moment right now. You can be a Republican and be against what is happening. You can support immigration laws and be against how they are being enforced. It's time to work across the aisle, which, Mayor, you did say was happening, and I appreciate that, but I really think it's time to come out and be very, very transparent about that and how we are working together with all of the politicians in our state, all of the leaders in our state, to put our foot down against this. Warehouses are meant for items, not for people. Our streets are to be patrolled by our incredible police force who know our residents and who know how to de-escalate situations, not by untrained posers. Our bus stops where children wait for school need to be safe places, not dangerous zones of abduction. So I implore you, I really, really beg you, that it's time to do more than just saying this is not a good idea. It's time to do more than just passing a resolution, though I appreciate it and I want to acknowledge that. Because this isn't who we are as a community, and it's not who we are as a country either. Jackie, I've seen you reading to kids in the library, and I've always been jealous of your headbands, so I'm just gonna say that. Fred, I've heard how you're such a level-headed person. You support our rec department and our fire department, which I appreciate greatly. I'm just hoping that one day this can be a distant past, but if we don't do something about it, if you do not do something about it now, something strongly against this now, it's going to leave a black stain on our community, and it's going to leave a black stain on your legacies. So thank you for your time.
Well, that's a tough act to follow. But I'm going to give it a shot off the cuff. Kenneth Collins, 14 Pinecliff Road, Newton, New Jersey. Former member of the Roxbury Environmental Action Coalition. Remember the Fenimore landfill? Yeah, I was here for that, for all of it. I helped lead that fight. Maybe some of you who were here then remember me. That's why I'm here tonight. I'm here tonight because, well, I came actually to honor the life of Alex Bray. Excuse me. And I'm here to caution you, because I heard your statement about
the Fourth Amendment, the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures. The Fifth Amendment, and I'm not reading the whole thing, but the Fifth Amendment, no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. The Sixth Amendment, in all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury, and to be informed of the nature and cause of the accusation, to be confronted with the witnesses against them, to have compulsory process for obtaining witnesses in their favor, and to have the assistance of counsel for their defense. And finally, the Eighth Amendment. Excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishments inflicted. Do your job.
Hi, my name is Ardith Collins. I am a Parsippany resident. I am a Jersey girl through and through. I love this country and I love Morris County. Alex Pretty should have gone to work today. Renee Good should have taken her child to school today. And another person is in critical condition tonight after being shot in Arizona today. Pepper spray, pistol whipping, and public executions are the work of tyrants. It shouldn't have to happen to you to matter to you. I asked last week and I will ask again, have any of you visited Delaney Hall? Maybe you should. Did you know that on January 22nd, at the request of the federal government, Indiana passed House Bill 1119, which allows for lethal gas chambers and firing squads? Did you know that executions are also no longer required to occur at state prisons? The subtext of this means that today a person doesn't need to be imprisoned to be executed by the American government. Indiana, the same state that proudly has the Speedway Slammer Detention Center, and 5 other states have already passed this bill into law. We know that short-term ICE warehouse facilities are being used as long-term confinement in overcrowded, inhumane conditions. If the fire department is concerned with exceeding capacity tonight, the irony is clear. This should raise legal and constitutional concerns for every person everywhere. Today on camera, an ICE agent told an observer, "You raise your voice, I'll erase your voice." Over the weekend, ICE tear gassed a preschool. Do not forget that ICE detention centers are money laundering schemes, and for-profit prisons and surveillance networks tied to this regime are the only ones benefiting from this, not you and not me. We are here to give you the courage to take a stand, and I will reiterate the request for this council to make a strong statement that you do not stand with what ICE is doing to this country. I asked last week, and I will ask again, which side are you on? And I promise you this: we will rise with Morris County. We will rise against our foes. We will rise with all the mothers. We will carry all their woes. We will rise to fight for freedom. We will rise though faced with fears. We will rise against all hatred while our eyes are veiled with tears.
Hi, the Reverend Diana Wilcox. I live in Frieden in Sussex County. I also serve on the Land Use Board, and I appreciate the time that you all dedicate to the work you're doing here. But I'm also a priest of the church. I was in Minneapolis on Friday, and I can tell you, as a citizen, the streets were empty. the businesses were shut down. There were 50,000 people standing alongside me. That's at a minimum. And that's in negative 10-degree weather with a wind chill factor of negative 35. If this prison is built here, this town will be shut down. Economic consequences will happen to everyone. And a lot of people have talked about that. But I'm also a priest in the Episcopal Church. And I don't know your faith, it's none of my business. I believe strongly in separation of church and state. However, for those who are followers of Jesus, I remind you that his commandment was to love one another as he loved us. And most especially to read Matthew 25. And remember that what we do to the least of these, we do to him. And Jesus is being crucified in the street. When Alex was shot and killed, that's Jesus in that pool of blood. Renee Good was shot and killed, that is Jesus in that car. So if you call yourselves people of faith, whatever faith that may be, and in particular if you call yourselves followers of Jesus, I urge you to listen to him if you won't listen to everyone else in this room. Thank you.
I'm not one to stand up here. This is actually my second town hall that I've ever been to. The one was 2 weeks ago. I've been a resident here for 13 years. I have 2 children, and I write strongly written emails. I call my representatives every day, and it feels like this is the next step, right? It's in my backyard. All that is for New Jersey. All that's for my county. But this is my backyard. This is where I raise my children. This is where I want to live and retire and live out my days. I don't want to walk my children around Roxbury worried. They're half Chinese. And I don't want them to worry at school. I don't want them to be bullied. I want to walk around here being proud of my town, that I've lived here for so long. And I want to support my community. And I don't want my children to be in fear. And I don't want myself to be in fear either. I think strongly worded letters are great, but this administration, it stomps on them. They don't care. They use them as kindling. They rip them up and they throw them away. I need you guys to get ahead of it and really put your feet down. Because right now I'm looking at your faces this whole time, and I don't see anger. I don't see rage. I just see you guys staring at us and talking. Like you heard it before, which you have. And you'll hear it again. But I want to see that rage from you guys. I want to see it. I want to know that you guys are going to stand up for us. Thank you.
I'm Dan Capasso from 18 Ridge Road, Sucasana. I've written my thoughts down so that the anger I feel does not cloud my words. The anger that the council would even entertain the creation of a detention center in our town. In 1 year, ICE and CBP have been involved in at least 28 shootings, 6 in this month alone. 8 of these shootings have led to civilian deaths. This month, we witnessed the extrajudicial murder of Renee Good and Alex Craig. In the past week, the death of an ICE detainee was ruled a homicide. He was not the first to die at the hands of federal agents within their concentration camps. We have seen that ICE and CBP do not care who they capture, harm, or kill. They use children as bait and break into homes without judicial warrants. If you vote to allow the creation of any detention center, you are welcoming state-sanctioned violence upon us all. If any of your neighbors are harmed, their blood is on your hands. Make no mistake, if you welcome fascism into our town, it is only a matter of time before its boot is on your own necks. I see a lot of "Don't Tread on Me" flags and "We the People" stickers on cars. If you truly believe that, now is the time to push back on the tyranny the federal government is forcing upon you and your neighbors. This is your chance to be on the right side of history. Thank you.
Hi,
Jody Kegan, 90 Union Brick Road, Blairstown. It's kind of an unusual position I find myself in because twice in my life I've spent 2 to 4 years fighting a quote project, and that meant, you know, the zoning board, planning board, attending all those meetings, but never once did the committee, because we had township committees then, ever issue a resolution or anything that was in, like, my group's favor. So I feel that we are really way ahead of the game. But my question is, what's in our tool bag besides the, if it's not a permissible use, then it's clearly prohibited? I mean, besides that one, what are the other things in the tool bag that we can use? And are those things that are a tool bag that are in really the planning board attorneys or zoning board attorneys' purview? So I'll give another example of what potentially could happen. And I'm not going to talk about the righteousness of the cause. I think that's clear from the resolution. It's clear from everybody who's been talking here. So I want to get down to the brass tacks. What would this committee do if the government decides to exercise, it's multiple words, supremacy clause or the federal sovereign immunity to try to get this warehouse converted to a jail? What? The attorney? Is it a lost cause if that happens, if the government says we will be changing this?
I'll give the council.
I don't want to talk on litigation.
Session if and when something occurs.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Sierra Wilson. I'm your Morris County neighbor in Bed Lake. Today I urge you all to take as much action as possible to prevent the facility in Roxbury. Whatever you can do besides sign a piece of paper could have a monumental impact to the lives and safety of New Jersey residents. Because they are coming. They are coming. They're coming for innocent people.
Not to answer?
No, you can't ask direct questions.
Okay, no problem. Do you want to answer as a group? No. Okay, the few times I've heard you speak, you express your priority to protect the safety of Roxbury citizens. I'm struggling to connect the dots between inviting ICE agents to your town and keeping citizens safe. These agents are unqualified, untrained, and emotionally unstable men living out their bully fantasies, all the while carrying a lethal weapon. To become an ICE agent, there are no education or work requirements. The physical exam is a kneel stand test, the ability to do 15 push-ups in 2 minutes, and a 5-minute cardio test. You don't need to be fit to pull a trigger. ICE officer David Corbell admitted to sexually assaulting a Nicaraguan woman in custody for months at a Louisiana ICE detention facility in exchange for letters and pictures of her daughter. The ICE agent hired lookouts while he raped her over and over in a janitorial closet. If you want to talk about dangerous criminals walking the street, that ICE officer was released on a $10,000 bond. You're naive to think this won't happen at the warehouse on 46. They tear gassed a black family's car in Minneapolis. They tear gassed a 6-month-old baby. A 6-month-old baby. This is the party, the pro-life party, mind you. A 21-year-old protester, Caden Rumler, holding a megaphone, was shot at close range by an ICE agent, leaving him permanently blind in one eye and nearly killing him in South Carolina. Because of Trump's big beautiful bill, the annual ICE budget is $28 billion. That's larger than the budgets of the FBI, DEA, ATF, and U.S. Marshal Service and the Bureau of Prisons combined. They have $28 billion for basement-dwelling incels to play dress-up and shoot at us, all the while Americans with asthma are dying because they cannot afford their inhalers. We can't afford food, housing, healthcare, but they can afford $50,000 sign-up bonuses for these scumbags to cosplay and brandish weapons. Let's compare crime rates in the population of undocumented individuals. In 1980, immigrants made up 6.2% of the U.S. population, and the total crime rate was 5.9%. By 2022, the population of undocumented people more than doubled to 13.9%, while the crime rate had dropped to 2.335%. That's more than half. There is no data to support that undocumented individuals are a danger to us. If we want to follow data, there is one demographic that we should look at more closely, and that's white men that look like you and look like me. Here's some data from crime reports on the FBI website. White individuals were arrested more often for violent crimes than individuals of any other race and accounted for 59.1% of those arrests in 2019. White men also account for most violent crime committed in schools and gang-related crimes. Immigrants have had lower incarceration rates than U.S.-born for each of the last 150 years, and today immigrants are 60% less likely to be incarcerated than those who were born in the USA. The most violent and dangerous thing to not only our country but to the globe is white supremacy. White supremacy doesn't exist without violence. European colonizers genocided an estimated 56 million indigenous people for this land, and now we're trying to pretend like we're the arbiters of who can and cannot be here. Undocumented people are some of the kindest people I've ever known. They would give you the shirt off their back if it was their last one. My friend would work a 16-hour shift and still cook me a meal, and you won't even listen to me for more than 3 minutes. 9 people have already been killed at the hands of ICE in 2026. It's the 27th of January. I see you looking around like I'm crazy for telling you how many people they've killed. We are here standing in front of you, providing you indisputable evidence that our federal government is acting in tyranny, abusing human rights of citizens and non-citizens alike, executing people in the street, and trampling over our constitutional rights as Americans. Roxbury, New Jersey is not immune to what's happening in Minneapolis. Our question is, do you want that blood on your hands? You're welcome.
I'm Jimmy Pryor. I live in Roxbury, 812 Robin Court. I've been coming.
Sir, could you say your last name one more time?
Pryor, P as in Peter, R-O-I-A. My folks moved us here when we were toddlers back in '58. I've been sitting here and listening to you guys for the last year and change now. I'm sure you've seen me sitting in the back. I was in the outback today, but I just wanted to come in and tell you, I think you guys are pretty on the level, mostly. I'm not going to stand here and lecture you guys. I know that you have TVs, I know you have computers, I know you have smartphones, so you see and know all of this. And a lot of the things that everybody has said really concerns me greatly. What's impact on Roxbury really concerns me. One of the things that strikes me is today reading that ICE is going to be part of the security detail for Rubio and Vance in Italy at the Milan Olympics. It's starting to make me wonder what ICE is all about if they're going to be in the security detail. And I'm sure that you guys are aware of that and you're starting to wonder yourselves. I guess what my concern for Roxbury is these guys show up and they put on jackets that say they're police. If you pass any ordinance, say nobody who isn't part of the Roxbury Police Department can wear something that says they're police. Because I'm a citizen here, and when I see somebody with a police jacket on, I want to know I know who they are, and I don't have to worry that I'm going to be shot. So, thanks.
Hi, Nate Rodriguez, Landing. So, I mean, everyone here's put it better than me, really. I was concerned when I found out that we were even thinking about having an ICE facility on 46. Like, I hoped that it wasn't true. I hoped it was a rumor. Because even the thought that that was on the table, yes, I know we've said we're not doing that, but even the thought that was on the table, I don't have words, polite words, to describe how disappointed and disgusted I am that that's even a thought in our heads. I know we said no, but still. So, here's the thing. I'm going to keep it short. I've lived in this town for 10 years, over 10 years. I've never missed an election. God forbid we actually do get a nice facility here. You can kiss my vote goodbye, and everyone I talk to's vote goodbye as well. Thank you so much for your time.
So everyone here is, hi, yes. My name is Aiden Danfelser. I'm from Rockaway Township, so it's a bit of a hike, but Morris County. I've been there for coming up on 13 years now. I don't think I'm going to put it as eloquently as a lot of people here have, but here's what I wrote. My understanding is that, as of today, this council has voted against building a ICE detention center here in Roxbury. That's great. Forgive me if that gives me little comfort, as I watch my leaders make spineless decisions at every step and every level of government, especially since ICE paid a little visit to the proposed site of the detention center the very morning after this council voted unanimously against proceeding with it. Call me unsatisfied. He wants to talk about budgetary concerns, so I will. The truth is, I couldn't find an estimate for how much money would be spent to build and maintain this detention center proposed in Roxbury. I do know that a contract of $1 billion was agreed upon with Geo Group to run Delaney Hall for 15 years. Another source said around $60 million a year, I did the math, and that's 900 million, so that checks out. I don't know how much a detention facility in this Roxbury warehouse would cost, but I'll tell you this. With millions of dollars, we could be funding infrastructure repair and replacement. We could be funding more affordable access to child care. We could be funding efforts to help impoverished and homeless people. We could be working to make utilities less expensive, as our newly elected governor seems to be interested in doing. We could be maintaining hospitals, counseling centers, schools, places where people are given a chance at living a better life. Or, as long as this proposal is being floated around by DHS and whoever else is looking to make a profit off of it, we could be spending that money to continue fueling and aiding the abduction, detention, abuse, and murder of people, the majority of them without criminal records or with low-level offenses. Quite a number of them not even immigrants, let alone undocumented ones. I would argue that spending money on terrorizing our communities is not just immoral, it is a bad investment. So I hope that you will stick with your current stance on this proposal and not take the bait, because I want us to invest in making people's lives better here in Morris County, not destroying people's lives. And to quote Dr. King, the time is always ripe to do what is right. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Jennifer Marchese. I live at 578 US Highway 46 in Kenville, 07843, part of this great town of Roxbury that we all share. This weekend, I watched footage over and over and over again of Alex Preddy being shot in the streets of Minnesota. He was pepper sprayed. He was brought to the ground by 6 people. He was disarmed, and then he was executed in the streets of Minnesota. I saw that as I watched footage over and over and over and over again this weekend. And I oscillated between absolute depression and full-on rage. What happened to Alex Preddy was wrong. I know that was wrong because I saw it with my own eyes. Everybody standing behind me or sitting behind me knows it was wrong because they saw it with their own damn eyes. Most of America and most of the world know that was wrong because they saw it with their own damn eyes. Now I hope everybody up there understands what happened this weekend was wrong. Our good people in the badges back here and in town would never do such a thing because they have morals, they have training, and they live to protect and serve Americans and people who just are human beings living in America. They would never do that because they're disciplined and they're ethical and they respect our Constitution and the rights of every human being living in this nation. Now, I know that was wrong, but I also know so much other stuff is happening that is terribly, terribly wrong. And if I don't speak loud enough and convince enough other people that what's going on is wrong, then the next person that dies, the next person that's tortured, that's on me. Because I didn't use my voice to stand up for the next person who's going to die at the hands of our government. And if this ICE facility comes here and is run by a bunch of untrained, hostile, angry humans that don't have the training and don't understand the Constitution and don't understand human rights or morals or ethics, then somebody here is going to be tortured and somebody here is going to die. And that is still on me. And I don't want to live with that. And these people do not want to live with that. I just hope you guys can live with that if you let it happen.
Hello. My name is Tom Cotton. I live in Ledgewood. I'm an attorney and father of 2 Jefferson Elementary School students. I'm also 37 years old. In the past few days, I have seen 2 other 37-year-old Americans gunned down in an American town. And on that, I have a few brief remarks to the Council. I am proud of the Council for its recent resolution against the establishment of the detainment facility. but my pride today comes with expectations for tomorrow. I ask that the town council, town officials, and town professionals ensure the recent resolution is just one step in a zealous campaign against such a facility. I ask that the council never forget who they are dealing with. By that I mean in the past year, we have seen DHS and its agencies repeatedly, knowingly, and conspicuously act in excess of their powers. DHS and its agencies appear determined to do what they want until courts, legislators, and state and local officials step in. And even then, DHS and its agencies have at times continued their unlawful conduct in defiance of orders to cease. And so in closing, I ask that the town council keep all this in mind for their future interactions with DHS. Do not let your guard down and never assume DHS is acting in good faith. To every member of the council, be ready to use all the powers you know you have, all the powers you think you have, and all the powers you're not even sure you have to stop this facility. Thank you.
Hi, Diane Orangehook. I actually came here all the way from Newton, and I wanted to express that this impact that you will have one way or another is going to impact all of northern New Jersey, including other counties. And when I think about a town council, it's not the first time I've spoken in front of a town council. I went before my zoning board to ask to run a small dog kennel business at my home. And they vehemently told me no, faster than any of you have said no to this movement. And I didn't need to have anybody come with me to say that they were against my dog kennel, but you have hundreds of people showing up weekly to tell you they're against this ICE facility. And I was told no for a dog kennel with nobody standing there saying no from the town. So how you can allow your discourse to continue without considering that you have this many people on the opposite side of the argument kind of shocks me. And when we think about not just the impact on Roxbury, but all of our surrounding communities, you will not only be known as the people who did not stop this to Roxbury, but all of northern New Jersey. They will all not only know Roxbury to be the city that allowed this to happen, but also each of your names. That you didn't put your foot down and ask for more information and question the information. And you don't seem like people who take things at face value. So I hope you don't this time.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Brenda Lozano, and I'm from Clifton, New Jersey. I wasn't planning on speaking today, but this is my first town meeting. I've never spoken in front of a council before, and as you can tell, I am Hispanic, and I am the daughter of an immigrant family. My family has been in New Jersey for, I say, 30 years now, and my family is nothing but good, hardworking people, and it is disgusting to see how my people are being treated and how other immigrants are being treated like worse than cattle. This is not the New Jersey that I was taught to learn and taught to love and respect. I love New Jersey, and I don't ever want to plan on moving out of New Jersey. I want to have a family here and have kids and be a mother, but how can I do that if I live in fear? If I live in fear for my own family, knowing that someone like me or someone like my family can easily be detained, and that's it. It's disgusting. We need to wake up. And I see so many, I'm 24 years old, I see way too many people my age saying silent, but I will not stay silent because I refuse to allow my generation to suffer of the hands of these people in our government who do not care for us. They don't care for the American people. And I am not from Roxbury nor from Morris County. I lived in Passaic County my entire life, and I have seen ICE footage in my town, in Hudson County, Essex County, where majority of those towns are immigrants or family or people who are U.S. citizens but have immigrant families. And it is terrifying to know that there is a possibility of an ICE facility being built in this town. And the first day that I heard about it, I just couldn't believe it. I thought, not my state, not my beloved New Jersey state. So please, I ask you to wake up and just listen to us and see that we are living in fear. And I don't want to live in fear anymore. That's ridiculous. This is the United States. Isn't this the land of the free and all of these opportunities? Because it doesn't feel like it. So please, I ask you, as a concerned resident, as a concerned daughter, and as a concerned Hispanic woman herself, please, I ask you with your hearts, do something about this. But really do something about this. Thank you.
Woods in a smaller town like ours. While I appreciate the council for passing that resolution 2 weeks ago, what is essentially a strongly worded letter isn't going to stop this administration from doing what it wants to do. I understand that as Republicans, you all support enforcing our immigration laws. I do too. I suspect most people in this room do. But the problem lies with how they're going about it. Obama deported over 3 million people during his term, but followed due process and actually prioritized those with criminal records. Despite what Trump says, 70% of those deported under him have had no criminal convictions. Several hundred were even deported to El Salvador's terrorist prison that have been credibly accused of torture. I myself was a registered Republican before Trump turned the party on its head. I changed my affiliation to Libertarian the second he won the primaries back in 2016. But the Republican Party I remember would be disgusted with what is happening today. We have an undertrained, masked, and militarized federal police force grabbing people off the streets to check their papers, violating 4th and 5th Amendment rights, claiming federal immunity when they unlawfully detain U.S. citizens, or as we've seen recently, shoot them to death in broad daylight. What happened to the party of Reagan? He viewed illegal immigrants as hardworking, productive members of society that made the U.S. better. So much so that he signed a bill giving 3 million of them legal status. So what I'm asking of the council is to be Reagan Republicans on this issue. Use the power we gave you to put up any and every roadblock possible to at least delay, if not outright deny this plan from ICE moving forward. Thank you.
My name is Rebecca Rivero. I live at 110 Kendall Avenue in Kendall. I'm not going to be nearly as eloquent as some of the people who've spoken before me. Phenomenal job. I went to Roxbury High School. I've lived back in town for nearly 6 years now. I don't want to be here talking to you tonight about this, but my heart and my mind are so heavy with what's happening in our country. I'm horrified and I'm scared. I cannot stand by and watch this play out without speaking up. We need you to actually do something to stop ICE from setting up shop in our town. If these thugs are comfortable executing U.S. citizens in broad daylight, I cannot imagine the horrors that are happening behind closed doors in a proposed facility like this one. The presence of ICE brings nothing but terror and trauma, and I don't want that for my community. To quote Mark Twain, action speaks louder than words, but not nearly as often. Will you have the courage to act, or will you roll over and just let this happen to our town? I understand you mentioned that, if something is not explicitly stated in the zoning ordinance, that it is by default excluded. But please, go out of your ways and just make it explicit. I think that's what we're all looking for, is just a confirmation on that. You've shown us you can talk the talk with this ordinance opposing the facility. We need you to stand up and walk the walk. Say it with your chest, 10 toes down. If you really oppose this, take action. I implore you to change our zoning as soon as humanly possible. If you truly oppose this ICE detention facility coming to Roxbury, take this facility and anything like it, including any correctional facility, off of the table, right now and for the future. This is an emergency that demands urgency from our elected officials, including you. Do not wait until it's too late. Just do what's right. If I were in your seat, I would have done it already. Thank you.
is Peter Benamo. I live at 522 Curtis Road in Landing. So I've been a Roxbury resident for 32 years. I grew up in Lower Berkshire Valley. I went to Roxbury High School, and now I live in Landing with my wife. I also don't want to be here tonight, but when I heard about this potential ICE facility in this community, I became incredibly concerned. Whether you're a Republican, Democrat, Independent, or you don't care about politics, I think we can all agree, unless you have your head buried in the snow, that the way these immigrants are being treated in these detention facilities is incredibly inhumane, it's disgusting, and I don't want our town and our community to have anything to do with that. One day, history is going to remember this time, and I want this town to be on the right side of it. So please do anything you can. I know we talked about, concerns about the impact on our roads, our police, our fire, but I'm talking about we have a moral imperative to resist this in any way we can. So please do the right thing. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Michael Anthony, and I'm a resident of Landing. This town has been my family's chosen home since 1976. I come here this evening to speak about the largest single threat to this community, the possible location of a DHS processing center. Since the discovery of the federal government's intent to use an existing warehouse on Route 46, I'm no longer convinced that Roxbury can offer the safety we have come to know. My question for this council is very simple. Beyond issuing a resolution, what are you willing to proactively do to prevent this unwelcome intrusion in our community? Waiting for the federal government to take more concrete steps, as some have suggested, is, in my opinion, appeasement. And as the world has seen before, and more recently, appeasement is weakness that leads to failure. Let me put this in very clear terms. I do not want Roxbury to be the next Minneapolis. I do not want to see roadside memorials to U.S. citizens shot by ill-trained agents. Nor do I want this town to be referred to as the next Owens Valley Reception Center, which later became known as Manzanar, an internment camp for so-called others. Then they were Japanese Americans. Today, it's not just violent criminals who should be arrested and prosecuted according to due process, but also anyone with an accent or darker skin that the federal government declares unfit to exist in our country. Finally, you should be very concerned about the economic impact on tax revenues if this facility proceeds. Who will want to move into a community with a massive prison? What will happen to the value of homes that residents wish to sell? What businesses will want to invest in a town that hosts a prison? If you think you have a tax revenue issue now, just wait until there are DHS and ICE vehicles on the streets of Roxbury and agents scouring the fast food places along Route 10 in Succothon. So unless this town wants to have a historical marker indicating that an internment camp existed here, I again ask, what are you going to do to stop this? Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Donald Danford, and I live in Hopatcong. 10 years ago, I had the joy of moving out of my home state of Ohio and now call New Jersey home. Roxbury's economy depends on local businesses, families choosing to live here, and people feeling proud to spend their money here. Facilities like this one are controversial, and controversy has real economic consequences. We've seen in other towns and states that protests, boycotts, and negative attention can drive customers away from local shops and restaurants, businesses that had no say in this decision, but would ultimately pay the price. If even a small percentage of residents or visitors choose not to spend their money here, that hurts workers, owners, and tax revenue. So my question to the council is simple. What does Roxbury truly gain economically from this facility? And how does that possibly outweigh the very real risk to our local businesses, our reputation, and the long-term stability of this community? This next part is more to the people in this room. We have an ethical responsibility, and we all have weapons. That weapon is our wallet. My suggestion is to people in this room, outside of this room, that until this council does the right thing, use that weapon. Don't buy things in Roxbury.
Today, I urge you all to take as much action as possible to prevent the facility in Roxbury. Whatever you can do besides sign a piece of paper could have a monumental impact to the lives and safety of New Jersey residents. Because they are coming. They are coming. They're coming for innocent people, and they're coming for Roxbury. I actually wrote this speech a week ago, before another innocent life was taken. But now the death toll has increased. So yes, they are coming. They were here. You spoke to them. They're coming for your loved ones, and if not your loved ones, then they're coming for your constituents. You should be scared. Because if it were about not paying taxes, ICE would not be using tax records to kidnap people. If it were about the legality of citizenship, ICE would not be showing up at visa appointments. If it were about saving lives, they wouldn't be murdering nurses. They wouldn't be kidnapping immigrant nurses off the Hackettstown hospital floor. If it were about criminal records, ICE would not be kidnapping children or posting outside of schools or churches. If it were about morality, Renee Good, Alex Preddy, and so many more would still be here. These are your constituents. These are your neighbors, friends, loved ones that will be stored in a warehouse. Yeah, stored. Not kept in a warehouse, not housed in a warehouse. They're stored as if they're pieces of paper, as if they're packages, as if they're not human. I previously wrote that ICE has a vendetta against Black and brown individuals, which make up a good portion of New Jersey as a whole. But as we've seen in the last few weeks, no one is safe. It is your responsibility to protect your community. You say safety is the top priority, and you speak about neighbors helping neighbors. So I demand that you all extend this belief that you've spoken about tonight to all residents. So please do more. Do all that you can. Because your town, your neighbors, are counting on you. Thank you.
Hi, Kevin Hoops, Mount Arlington. I wasn't planning on speaking tonight, so this will be a little on the fly, so apologies for that. Quick procedural question. Are you guys planning to address anything after the second public comment, or should we not be expecting that? And I know you don't have to answer anything, but I'm pretty sure you can say anything you want. You can talk as much as you want. I've been to other town council meetings. Okay, so just to clarify what I heard, I was over in the overflow room. You don't have to answer questions like I just said, but you can choose to. And what I think I heard was an opportunity for an incredible layup for any one of you to just speak out and say the killing of Alex Preddy was unjustified. All you had to do was say, yes, agree. None of you did that. You could have. I would also like to give you the opportunity to speak. I know you don't have to answer questions. How hard have you tried to get in touch with Tom King Jr.? I know he's famously unreachable, but... And one more opportunity for you guys. This is not pressure. This is a gift of an opportunity for you. I would love to hear, as one of the speakers just before asked, how much have you guys talked with the town attorney, the land use board, coming up with scenarios, ideas, gaming out plans, roadblocks, ways to prevent things that are maybe, let's say, creative or whatever, what have you. You understand what I'm trying to say. If you feel like just saying anything right now, you totally could. Just because you don't legally have to answer me right now doesn't mean your silence is going unnoticed. Thank you.
Dante Mancy, I live over in Sakasana. Been here for a year, but we've been patronizing Roxbury. I'm from Sussex County, country boy. Been down here for about 10 years. My wife's from Randolph, so she's patronized Roxbury her whole life, and introduced me to Horseshoe Lake and all the beautiful people in this town, and it's been awesome. Ham radio operator, and used to hang out with Split Rock Club, and lots of Republicans in there, and I'm totally a lefty, and we used to hang out, especially we used to have these 24-hour operating gigs over in the park there in Horseshoe, and we'd spend late nights just talking normal, casual politics. Both sides of the aisle, and everybody is a whole lot closer than the media wants us to think we are. And I really implore all of you sitting here to make a statement, because I spend my working hours trying to remind people that National Fire Protection Agency standards and codes are a thing in pertinence to generators, and no one seems to listen. No one cares about standards, codes, or anything, especially the federal government right now. It seems like they just walk around doing whatever they want. So please, I implore you to put out a statement publicly that says, Township of Roxbury, no ice, thanks, see you later, this is who we are. Thank you.
Hello, Brady Green from Montague in Sussex County. I know that it must be frustrating for you guys to listen to all of these people, and you've said over and over again that there's nothing that you guys can do, it's already an unpermitted use. But couldn't they apply for a zoning variance that would allow them to open the facility?
I'm not going to speak for the zoning board, but it would be up to the zoning board if they decline.
Okay. But it's still something that they can apply for a zoning variance. You've said that you're working with Senator Booker, but I've spoken with Senator Kim's office, and they said that they've reached out and that you have not replied.
That is absolutely a lie. I've absolutely replied.
Okay, well, I'm talking to the state director
replied.
of his office.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I will touch base with Ben Giovanni, and I will ask him, and just to clarify, that he said that you did not respond. So,
Absolutely, yeah.
alright, okay, then I will clarify with his office. But I would also encourage you to look to Kansas City, Missouri. They were also on the list for getting a ice detention facility. I don't know if you've looked into it.
Just to clarify, Senator Kim did not, his staff reached out.
Yes, and that's who I'm talking to. Yeah, Senator Kim's staff reached out, and they did not.
He did not, so.
Okay, his office reached out, and you did not reply.
I absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Alright, I will double check that. I'm saying look to Kansas City, Missouri. They passed a 5-year moratorium on the opening of any prison facility not operated by the city. It's an option. We ask you to consider all tools and all options, not just work with Senator Booker, but also work with Senator Kim. Also keep reaching out to Keene, but also considering these additional actions, right? The moratorium, looking at zoning variances. You can't just say that there's nothing that you can do just because it's an unpermitted use. There's plenty of things that you guys can do. And I said it before, and I'll say it again. You guys don't want this facility. We don't want this facility. We're all on the same team. So I would appreciate more respect and for you guys to take this a little bit more seriously when people are up here expressing their concerns and everything. It's we all care. We don't want this to happen, and there are tools that you can utilize to stop it. So I just ask that you do everything in your power.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Megan Dre. I'm 10 Hemlock Lane, Flanders, here in Roxbury Township. I just have a quick question, not for an answer, for something for you guys to think about. And it kind of, obviously I'm concerned about the facility, but I feel like everyone before me has spoken way more eloquently than I would on that. I just have a general question about ICE coming to our town in general. I had heard a rumor that ICE was at one of our schools. I reached out to the superintendent, who got back to me very quickly and told me that was just a rumor, that they were not there. I also talked to a principal who said the same thing, but it got me scared. What happens when they come? Has there been conversations between the mayor and the council, in coordination with the superintendent, in coordination with our police chief, about what we're going to do to keep everyone here safe and what protocols are? Is there at any point going to be like a community safety meeting where instead of us talking to you, you are talking to us about what our rights are, what safety procedures are? If ICE comes, can we call Roxbury Police? What can they do? When I did speak to the superintendent, he said, per a conversation last year, the rules would be ICE goes to the police department, serves the warrant there before going to any schools. But we're watching people being murdered in the streets. Are they really going to be doing that? He did say there was talk about some extra security around like PTA events and fun events and things after the school to make sure none's in the parking lot. So while I appreciated how quickly he got back to me, it scared me that even any of this could be happening, and I know there's conversations about it, but are there concrete conversations about keeping people safe, and is there going to be any plan to communicate that back to us? Thank you.
Thank you. This will be the last person for public portion. Thank you very much.
Good evening, my name is Brooke Donaldson. I live in Long Valley, but Roxbury is my backyard. I have two 20-month-olds. We are members of New Jersey Swim and Landing. We love attending shows at the Roxbury Arts Alliance. We have taken our two kids to the Horseshoe Lake Complex many times for walks in all sorts of weather. We love meeting up with friends with their babies at either Beanbury or Roosters. So suffice it to say, we are integrated in this community, and sensory play at the library is one of our favorite Saturday activities, and we thoroughly enjoy going to Mama's Play. That being said, if an ICE detention center is here, Roxbury becomes the backyard for ICE. And our kids are going to have to understand, as we are raising them, that the golden rule, which maybe if you need a refresher, is do unto others as you would have done unto you, might not apply to our neighbors and our friends in Roxbury. And maybe we can't go to Roxbury anymore to enjoy the wonderful benefits that you all have for your community. So I implore you to consider, what are we teaching our kids? What is the narrative that we're going to tell our friends and our families about Roxbury in the future? Thank you.
Thank you. Close the public. We have an executive session.
We do, Mr. Mayor. We have two items to discuss, third-party privilege, potential litigation, and litigation proceedings. There will be no further action.
Should two items.
Yes. Potential litigation. And potential litigation. No. Attorney-client privilege.
Okay.
A resolution of the Township Council of the Township of Roxbury, the County of Morris, New Jersey, authorizing conference of the Township Council with the public excluded. Whereas it is deemed appropriate the Township Council discuss the matters hereinafter mentioned without the presence of the public in accordance with the provisions of RS 10:4-12B, being Section B of the Open Public Meetings Act. Now therefore be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Roxbury, matters relating to attorney-client privilege, potential litigation, and litigation Hercules shall be discussed by the Township Council without the presence of the public.
I move to go into executive session.
All in favor?
You're not expecting to take
No, we're going to step out and head into executive session in the other room. We will not be taking action in that room. We should probably be about 20 minutes or less. And then when we come back, we are not anticipating any further action, and we will adjourn the meeting.